When matters come to such a head, Celia rose to the occasion and prepared a plan by which both of them together will secretively leave the palace. Please listen to this conversation. Celia, shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No, let my father seek another heir. Therefore devise with me how we may fly, whither to go, and what to bear with us. And do not seek to take your charge upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out. For by this heaven, now at our sorrows pale, say what thou canst, I will go along with thee. Rosalind, why? Whither shall we go? Celia, to seek my uncle in the forest of Arden. Rosalind, alas, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Celia, I will put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you, so shall we pass along and never stir assailants. Rosalind, were it not better, because that I am more than common tall, that I did suit me all points like a man, a gallant kirtle lights upon my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there. What hidden woman's fear there will? We will have a swashing and martial outside, as many other mannish cowards have that do outface it with their semblances. Celia, what shall I call thee when thou art a man? Rosalind, call me Ganymede. But what will you be called? Celia, no longer Celia, but Eliana. Rosalind, but cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel? Celia, he will go along over the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let us away and get our jewels and our wealth together. Devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now go we in content to liberty and not to banishment. Act 2, Scene 1 is laid in the forest of Arden. Here we see Duke Senior talking to Amiens, one of the lords, and some of his companions. All are dressed as foresters. They are all happy. The Duke Senior expresses his outright blissfulness in getting such an idyllic life. The woods appear to them as free from peril, freer than the envious palace. He continues thus: sweet are the uses of adversity, and this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. I would not change it. Duke Frederick came to know only very late about the sudden disappearance of Celia, Rosalind, and Touchstone. He vows revenge on all of them. Act 2, Scene 3 is laid before Oliver's house. Here we see Adam, a good old and faithful servant of Sir Roland de Boys, meeting Orlando and hurriedly apprising him of the imminent danger he is in. Adam had overheard Oliver's plan to finish off Orlando that night itself. Hearing this, Orlando is at his wits' end, not knowing what to do. Now Adam, although about 80 years in age, instills courage in Orlando. Despite his age, he offers to go along with Orlando to some safe place. He also hands over some little savings he had retained with him. Adam speaks thus, "Take that, and he that doth the ravens feed, yea, providently caters for the sparrow. Be comfort to my age. Here is the gold. All this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty." The all too thankful Orlando replies thus, "O good old man, how well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world, when service sweat for duty, not for meed. Thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion." Now, Orlando and Adam set forth instantly to seek some refuge. Meanwhile, Rosalind, Celia, and Touchstone had reached the middle of the forest. All are tired of their continuous walking. They are hungry too. They don't have any more stamina to move forward. The lords attending on Duke Senior, like Amiens and Jacques, are all in high spirits, and they are all full of jollity. They go on singing and singing. One such song sung by Amiens is thus: "Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather." Act 2, Scene 7 is a very important one. This is laid in another part of the forest. A table is set out. Enter Duke Senior, Amiens, and others. Music is heard from the background. They are about to eat. All of a sudden, Orlando enters in a rough manner with his sword drawn. In utter fierceness, he demands food, primarily to be given to a pretty old man named Adam, who is sitting a little away, completely exhausted. In absolute gentleness, the Duke Senior requests the young intruder to share their food. Also, he can bring his companion there, so that he too shall enjoy their hospitality. Orlando suddenly becomes very polite. He thanks them. He goes forward to bring Adam along with him. Then follows a wonderful conversation between Duke Senior and the ever philosophical Jacob. This is the scene in which Jacob speaks at length about the 7 stages in the lifespan of a man, beginning with all the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely plays. Please listen to this beautiful dialogue between them. It is thus. Duke Senior, thou seest, we are not all alone and happy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in. Jacob, all the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely plays. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then, the whining schoolboy, with a satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwilling to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths, and bearded like the part, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, with good cape unlined, with eyes severe, and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age ships into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful oars well served, a world too wide for his shrunk, and his big manly voice turning again to his childish treble. Pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. This is a beautiful summarization of man's existence on planet Earth. It is said that Shakespeare, when he wrote this idyllic play As You Like It, was himself in the forest of Arden. He had entered one great ambition, that is the writing of the historical plays, and not yet commenced his tragedies. The year of composition of As You Like It is deemed to be 1600. It was a resting place. He sends his imagination into the forest to find repose instead of the court and the camps and palaces of England and the embattled plains of France. In these comedies were the woodland scenes, where the palm tree, the lioness, and the serpent are to be found, possessed of a flora and fauna that flourish in spite of geographical variations. There is an open air feeling throughout the play. Frederick got the news about the disappearance of Celia, Rosalind, and Touchstone only late. The infuriated Duke calls Oliver there and, holding him responsible for all this, orders that he should bring them back, failing which he will he will be cast out of his land there. Act 3, Scene 2 is a very interesting one. Here we see the spontaneous love between Orlando and Rosalind assuming new dimensions. The lovesick Orlando is seen holding a paper and hanging it on a tree. He also goes on carving the name Rosalind on the barks of trees. Rosalind and Celia, residing in another part of the forest of Arden, chanced to see them, and they were wonderstruck, though Rosalind had no idea as to who was doing it. She liked it very much. Celia makes some enquiries and finds out that all this is done by young Orlando, the person who had tripped up the wrestler's heels and Rosalind's heart, both in an instant. Eventually, they all chanced to meet, but Orlando could not distinguish the male-looking Ganymede as his own beloved sweetheart. The situation is so ironic and rather comic too, and Rosalind and Celia were fully enjoying the situation in disguise. Please listen to the interesting conversation between Rosalind and Orlando, which is thus. Rosalind: there is a man haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him. Orlando: I am he that is so love-shaked. I pray you, tell me your remedy. Rosalind: but are you so much in love as your rhymes speak? Orlando: neither rhyme nor reason can express how much. Rosalind: love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary, that the whippers are in love too, yet I profess curing it by counsel. Orlando: did you ever cure any so?